Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something fascinating, the psychology of attraction. Specifically, we're breaking down 5 distinct behaviors that just instantly destroy respect in a relationship. It's crazy because, as you'll see, these insights force us to confront a really uncomfortable reality. A lot of times, our attempts to seek validation actually push away the exact respect we're desperately looking for. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Predictability kills attraction. Man, that's a powerful quote. You see, respect isn't something you can just beg for or negotiate. Human attraction absolutely thrives on a certain level of independence, a little bit of mystery. When your actions become entirely predictable, when they're driven completely by a desperate need for approval, the whole dynamic shifts and attraction fundamentally breaks down. Section 1. Escaping the availability trap. The emotional pitfalls of seeking validation. So the very first attraction-killing behavior we're looking at is begging for attention. We're talking about that urge to call nonstop, text repeatedly, and essentially chase a partner every single second of the day. This constant pursuit is a massive red flag. Why? Because it stems from a deeply rooted fear of loss, rather than a genuine place of confidence. Now, what's really interesting about this is how, culturally, we're often sold this idea that relentless pursuit is somehow highly romantic. You see it in movies all the time. But the reality? It's the exact opposite. Chasing is so frequently mistaken for romance, but it fundamentally lowers your perceived value. It signals that your entire emotional state hinges on their response. And honestly, the more you beg, the less she values you. I want to really emphasize this beautifully blunt truth from the text. His silence speaks louder than any text. Think about that for a second. A man with genuine purpose doesn't chase validation. He builds himself instead. By choosing silence over just firing off a barrage of needy texts, you actually demonstrate self-control. You prove you have a real mission outside of that relationship. Which brings us to the second psychological trap: being too available. Now, it sounds completely counterintuitive, right? I mean, shouldn't you want to be available for someone you care about? Well, sure, but there's a very specific threshold where availability crosses over into a complete lack of self-respect. Let's walk through the specific symptoms here. We're talking about dropping everything for her, casually canceling your own pre-existing plans, or always picking up the phone instantly on the very first ring. If you exhibit these behaviors, she will lose interest. Why? Because this level of total predictability shows that your time essentially has no inherent value unless she's the one occupying it. So, we've looked at the internal emotional pitfalls, the chasing and the overavailability. But what happens when words don't match actions? What happens when we pivot our mindset from those internal emotional behaviors to external, practical realities? Basically, what happens when what someone says completely misaligns with what they actually do out in the real world? Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 2, Action Over Empty Promises, the reality of money, effort, and results. This leads us directly to the third behavior that instantly kills respect, which is begging for money. Now, to be clear, this isn't about being inherently wealthy. It's really about the psychological posture you take when you're facing financial adversity. And this brilliantly illustrates a crucial distinction from the source. Struggling is human, depending is not. Look, anyone can fall on hard times, and a partner can absolutely support you through that. But the exact moment a partner essentially becomes your wallet, respect dies. She cannot carry you entirely without the foundational respect of that relationship just completely collapsing. Moving right along to the fourth trap, men who talk big but do absolutely nothing. This is that classic trap of the grand visionary who totally lacks execution. And let me tell you, it acts as a slow poison to respect. There's just this massive gap between empty promises and tangible results. If all you offer is a constant stream of speeches about what you're going to do, well, eventually, the other person simply stops listening. Results earn respect, not empty words. You can really only build that respect through tangible, undeniable action. Dreams mean nothing without action. I'll just let the gravity of that statement sink in for a second. It completely strips away all the romanticization of simply having potential. Potential is cheap. Action is literally the only currency that actually buys respect in the long run. Section 3, the power of boundaries. The ultimate test of self-worth. Up to now, we've talked about how your own actions can lower your value. But this fifth and final behavior is all about how you respond to the actions of others, specifically tolerating disrespect. How you handle being mistreated is basically the ultimate litmus test for your own self-worth. We're talking about allowing insults to slide, accepting a persistently bad attitude, tolerating being belittled. The warning here from the source text is incredibly stark. The exact moment you allow these behaviors to happen without consequence, you instantly lose your power. If you don't respect yourself enough to demand basic decency, it's psychologically impossible for anyone else to respect you, period. So the crucial point is this. Sometimes walking away is the strongest move. You absolutely must set boundaries or you're going to get walked over. Walking away isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually the ultimate display of self-respect. It proves that your internal standard is simply higher than your fear of losing the other person. Section 4, Reclaiming Your Self-Worth. Building purpose to earn external respect. All right, here are 3 highly actionable steps from the text to escape these traps and reclaim that respect. Step 1, build yourself. Stop begging for attention and start focusing your energy inward. Step 2, have a life and goals. Stop talking big and start executing. And step 3, let her miss you. You've got to allow that crucial space for the psychology of attraction to actually do its work. Which leaves us with this final, really vital question. Are you setting boundaries or are you getting walked over? Earning respect isn't about controlling the other person. It's about mastering yourself, your purpose, and your boundaries. Take a hard look at your own actions. Are they commanding respect or are they quietly killing it? Think on that.